Sanctions have been one of the most important tools that Western countries have used to hurt Russia during its war against Ukraine. Since Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine in February 2022, a total of 21,692 sanctions have been placed on Russia. But Russia has managed to get around many of these sanctions, especially those that target its oil and gas sales, by using a growing group of unregistered and illegal ships, known as the Shadow Fleet. Russia has kept selling its resources and making money to support Putin's war. Now, that might be coming to an end. Ukraine has realized how dangerous this Shadow Fleet is and has started launching precise attacks that are damaging Russia's illegal ships. This information comes from Chuck Ferrum, who wrote an analysis for the Kiev Post on July 5th. He says Ukraine hasn't made these operations public because it can't. These attacks often happen outside Ukrainian or Russian waters, so they have to stay secret. But even though they're secret, these attacks are still happening and are causing serious damage to Russia. A.S. Ferrum explains, Ukraine's operation is targeting the core of Russia's illegal Shadow Fleet, oil tankers that use fake national flags, called flags of convenience, to avoid getting caught by Western sanctions. These ships are crucial for Russia, carrying oil that helps fund its military. Ukraine is now attacking them across the world. These attacks have taken place in several seas, including the Black Sea, the Baltic Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea. Of those, only the Black Sea is directly involved in the war between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine has made sabotage one of its main strategies. It's using unmanned vehicles, like sea drones or robotic boats, to hit and destroy massive Russian oil tankers. Every attack on Russia's Shadow Fleet is a perfect example of Ukraine's cleverness and secret planning, each one meant to hit Putin where it really hurts, in the money he's using to fund the invasion of Ukraine. And more of these attacks are happening than most people think. Chuck Ferrum lists 5 of them. The first one was a tanker called Seacharm, which was sailing under the flag of the Marshall Islands on January 28th. This tanker was traveling along Turkey's Black Sea coast when it was hit. Although Ukraine hasn't officially said it was behind the attack, most believe it was a Ukrainian naval drone that struck the ship with a powerful explosive. That blast tore a 3-foot hole in the hull of the Seacharm. Ferrum explains, the tanker's propulsion system was crippled, and the Seacharm was dead in the water. In other words, it couldn't move. With that single strike, Ukraine sent a clear message to Putin. Sure, losing one ship isn't a huge disaster for Russia. It can handle that kind of loss. But the real problem for Putin is that the Shadow Fleet uses hidden and secret routes to avoid Western sanctions. By hitting the Seacharm, Ukraine proved it knows about these secret routes. Even more importantly, Ukraine showed that it's willing to strike far beyond the usual war zones to stop Russia from using its Shadow Fleet. And that January 28th attack was just the start. On February 4th, Ukraine struck again. This time, the target was a ship called the Grace Farm, sailing under the Liberian flag. The ship had docked in Tobruk, Libya, a place that Ferrum says is a key location for Russia's illegal oil trading. Again, it's believed that Ukraine used a drone to launch the attack. A powerful explosion ripped through the inside of the ship, damaging the propulsion shaft and causing such serious destruction that the ship's owners had to spend a lot of money on a rescue and repair mission. In a report on the attack, the new Voice of Ukraine pointed out that the ship's tracking data is safe. Ukraine knew exactly what it was doing, both when it picked the ship and when it decided how to disable it. The Grace Farm wasn't sunk. That was never Ukraine's goal. Just like with the Seacharm, Ukraine hit the ship's engine system so it couldn't move, leaving it stuck in the water. This sent another message to Putin. Ukraine wasn't going to be careless or sloppy with its attacks on the Shadow Fleet. Every strike would be precise, carefully planned, and carried out so well that no one could directly blame Ukraine. And even if someone did, Putin wouldn't be able to say anything. That's because accusing Ukraine would mean admitting that Russia was secretly using those ships to get around international sanctions. Ukraine had trapped Putin in a difficult position, and they knew it, that Ukraine's confidence seemed to grow. On February 15th, they struck again, this time hitting the CL, a ship sailing under Malta's flag and docked in the Italian port of Savonardo. United 24 media reported on the attack, saying that 2 explosions hit the ship while it was unloading cargo. Again, Ukraine had picked its target wisely. Even though the CL flew Malta's flag, United 24 said it was on the list of illegal ships Russia